Weirdo, Charlotte here. Welcome back to Pretty Scary and day 2 of my 12 Twisted Days of Christmas. I was going to say Twisted Days of Halloween then. Twisted Days of Christmas. And today it's 2 calling birds or 2 collie birds, depending on which version of the rhyme you're looking at. And I'm going to do a really creepy kind of imposing blackbird with no mouth, which lures you to your doom by playing his telepathic bird song at you. Yes. So without much further ado, I'm going to make a start. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe because there are 10 more where these came from. And yeah.
So after birds on days 1, 2 and 3, you're well used to the fact that I make the beaks out of cardboard. Right, so I've made the beak and now I've just cut a piece of muslin ready to go over the mouth. And please excuse my voice, I've woken up with a cold and a sore throat, which is just wonderful. Anyway, stuck down the beak with some Pros-Aide, painted the face black and then stuck the muslin over the mouth with Pros-Aide. Now the great thing about muslin is you can breathe through it and see through it, so it's great for makeups like this. I used it in my voodoo doll as well, which I will also link so that you can have a look if you've not yet seen that one. So just sticking down the edges with some more Pros-Aide. Make sure that you stick the Pros-Aide onto clean skin though, not on makeup, because it doesn't like to stick on makeup. And now just using some cotton wool and latex, so long strands of cotton wool twisted and dipped in latex to create kind of a bird texture, for want of a better expression. That's not really a very good way of describing it, is it? But you know what I mean. I wanted a kind of a textured, gnarly bird, so I just stuck lots and lots of strips of cotton wool soaked in latex to create it's almost like a kind of a bark effect, but I just wanted it to be like a really, like I say, a really kind of gnarly blackbird calling bird to make it really creepy. So I just continued layering those on over the beak and across the face and also up the forehead to create a pattern. Once I was happy with the texture on the beak, I left that to dry and painted the muslin, because that had now dried too, using a sponge and a brush. You can see that blends pretty well into the skin and hides my mouth. If I sound a bit dopey, I've taken some medicine which makes me very drowsy, so probably not the best time to do a voiceover, but hey, I can't just stop working just because I'm poorly. Right, so continuing on with the latex strips across the forehead and across the cheeks, I wanted to build up a kind of a ridge along the cheekbones. And I'm also sculpting that latex and cotton wool with my trusty spatula. Creating lines and just moving that cotton wool to where I wanted to be. Then I wanted to create a circle at the top of the beak, just for, you know, just for kicks. And then I created another ridge underneath the first ridge I made on the cheekbones. And also built up the brow bones too. I just wanted to create a sort of an evil, creepy looking bird face, bird-human hybrid face. So just using thicker pieces of cotton wool to build up those ridges, and then putting more cotton wool over the top and just sculpting them with my spatula. Oh, I feel rubbish beaut and I feel very drowsy, so please excuse if this voiceover isn't the best. Once I was happy with the sculpting, I left that to dry and then stippled over with some more of that black water-based paint and a sponge. This helped to just show up the detail, which I could then go in and paint in further with a brush, like you see me doing here. What you want to do basically is fill everything in with the black and then use highlight to create the definition and the 3D effects. Normally we do it the other way around, we do it with shading, but because this is a black base, we're doing it with highlight instead. So just making sure all those areas are painted in. And now I'm kind of looking a bit like some kind of weird tribal voodoo doctor type thing. And then going in with some white on a brush and just kind of dry brushing that over the top of those textured areas to pick up the texture and the detail, and then just blend in with my finger. The white will blend in with the black and create a kind of a grey, which is what you want. You don't want the white to be too stark against the black. And I also used short, swift strokes to create a feather effect in any areas where there wasn't the latex and cotton wool texture. This is great because you can really see the look kind of come to life once you start to put that highlight in. Just highlighting around the eyes to create some interest and some feather effects. And that ridge around the mouth. You can see where we're going with this. And some more feathers. When creating the feathers on the neck, I went in with more paint in some areas than others, just to create different kind of shades of feather, so it wasn't all the same shade of white. And I kind of overlapped them because obviously feathers create quite an organic pattern, or a very organic pattern in fact. And then I painted the bottom half of the beak onto the muslin that's covering the mouth. Highlighted my eyelids to make my eyes pop a little bit. Some areas I put a little bit more white on just to bring those areas forward a little bit more than the rest. It's all about creating interest and definition. You don't want everything to be one shade. And I painted in the lower kind of jaw of the calling bird. Just a quick break to stick some feathers in the hair, and then I went in with some shading, so using a dark brown and also Deep Night by Laura Mercier, which is that dark navy that I use all the time. I'm just going in and creating some shadowed areas around the eyes, around the nose, just to bring a bit more of that shading and definition back in. Now I've put those white areas on. Give a little bit of definition to that lower jaw, under those cheekbones. Now obviously, because you're working on a black background, this won't show up hugely, but it will just give that little bit of extra depth to the look that you wouldn't have if you didn't do this step. So it's well worth doing. Applied some false lashes, because every good creepy bird needs long lashes to flutter at their victims. And we are more or less done. Just a few last minute tweaks and that's it.
This is the finished full 2 shuttle does 4 calling birds, 3 French hen. Right, beauties, this is a finished 4 calling birds. I hope you like it. If you do, please give this video a massive thumbs up, and I'd appreciate it loads if you drop me a comment down below too. I love talking to you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Love you all. I'm speaking without a mouth. It's very weird, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Love